Love it.
Wow, suddenly my feet are very comfortable.
Have fun.
I love you, TV.
The end of every project is always bittersweet. And I can't believe that it's the final season. This has given bittersweet a whole new meaning for me. It's wild to think back on the first conversation I had with Elena. I always go back to that because since day one, it's always been us and this unbelievably incredible team.
Yeah. I actually think we have a pretty unconventionally close relationship for this type of work because Hailee came from the world of movies and I came from the world of theater, and neither of us necessarily knew the rules, and so we were inventing our own rules. It feels like there's this triangle, which is Hailee, Elena, Emily. And it's been this constant dialogue and interplay between all of us. And Hailee's birthday is one day apart from Emily Dickinson's, which is a crazy coincidence that we found out. For me, I have ate, slept, and breathed nothing but Dickinson for close on like 7 or 8 years now, actually.
It's hard not to be obsessed with Emily Dickinson. There's something about this particular human that continues to amaze me and surprise me and fascinate me.
Emily has emerged from her inferno, which is that she confronted all the worst fears about her family and herself. And now she is taking charge and agency in a new way.
When I was having initial conversations about Emily, when I first was having this idea for the show, people didn't know who Emily Dickinson was, or if they did, they only basically knew that she was reclusive.
The only thing Emily Dickinson did was wear white and cry.
But she had a wicked sense of humor, and she made fun of her family, and she made fun of herself. And yet, she could also take these existential trips, going places in her mind that are pretty scary to go. Confronting death and confronting loneliness and confronting the limits of love. I'm pretty confident that at this point, like a young person in high school is probably learning a pretty different version of Emily, and one that is in fact closer to what the scholars and historians who have been studying her all along have said.
That was awesome, Hailee.
Resetting?
I really can't thank Elena enough for portraying these characters in a very vibrant way. That you can really be like, oh, these people were real, thinking, breathing, living, soul-feeling people.
Elena constructed this show around this crazy blend of her sense of humor and her historical understanding of Emily Dickinson and her commentary on a contemporary world, that kind of wild combination of things.
Elena created a really amazing show that we are all so proud of. And to now have come so full circle with her directing the finale of our final season is just not anything I would have ever imagined, I guess, as far as just how far we've all come, how much we've all grown together.
Period pieces are my favorite. There's just such a, I mean, you get to come to work every day and immerse yourself in a completely different world than what you're used to. And that starts first thing in the morning when you're going through hair and makeup and you get cinched into a corset. This whole experience has been absolutely incredible and really unlike anything I've done before.
Season 1, the first thing we ever shot was a dinner table scene. Those scenes always take forever to shoot because you gotta get all the way around the table, close-ups, the wides, and all of that. You're there all day. And as tedious as it was, we built such a strong foundation right then, right there around that table in our home on the very first day. And that season 2, we settled into knowing that we can go with it on the fly because we've built this foundation that we're confident in. And in season 3, it's just great to have gotten to a point where we know that this end result is gonna be something that we're proud of. We know exactly what we have to do to make it that. And we might as well just have a good time getting there. I don't think we've had this much fun in the 3 years of the show.
My brother writes, maybe plantation was wrong, so.
Toby!
Yeah.
Oh my God, come on! What is hard to do with Toby is keep a straight face.
Parents, get it together!
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Toby, would you back up just a little?
Yeah, Toby.
He always seems to provoke the sparkle to come out in my eye, and I try to get his to come out as well.
Oh my God. Anna, she is given these crazy, absurd things to do.
You're gonna see my work.
But she always makes it work.
It's my little pet.
Leave it to Anna to look beautiful while she's covered in mud at the same time.
Just another day on the job. There was a kind of perfect concoction made up to drench my hair and my face, and we added little flowers. I'm going out after this.
It was so much fun to film that day. It was comedy gold.
Yeah, they're both there.
I think we roll.
I think I just saw a mouse. Laura, the director, sent me an email basically saying, I want to get a gauge on your level of comfort with mice. And I truly was like, listen, I don't have anything against them, but like, I don't think I would voluntarily hold them, right? So I get to set, and I very quickly learned that Jane was not okay with it.
I kept trying to just convince myself that it was a showbiz mouse. So maybe you'd be trained and take a break at craft service or something. It was hard. I'm still actually getting a little bit like verklempt thinking about it.
Jane and I have really grown close. She just has always made me feel good in what I'm doing. She's always been very reassuring, and she's wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Dickinson is back!
When I'm filming, always, I wear a locket with a picture of Emily Dickinson in it. And it's my little secret, because George, you know, loves Emily, so he's got a little locket. And I just always wear it, and nobody knows, but I do.
Are you gonna do something mischievous? He's like, that's his mischievous walk.
Okay, I'm just gonna lay low, get the lay of the land, and then I'll pop out. Every moment is a joy for each of the Dickinson family members. I'm just here to scare. Emily helped on a plant.
What?
On a plant.
That's nice.
Adrian is the most fun. He's like the perfect big brother.
What am I gonna do? You are so good in the scene. You're like, okay.
We've all been so integrated into each other's personal lives as well.
When I first started working on Dickinson, I was 20. And I just moved to New York. I had no idea about living in America. It was a huge culture change for me. And Anna, Adrian, and Hailee, they really have been my siblings. And I love that about our relationship.
I remember early on, I would always bring a guitar to set, and I was jamming with Anna, Ella, and me, and we would just hang out and play songs to each other.
I had to learn how to do a little bit of piano, and the one thing that I knew how to do was Heart and Soul, which I'm sure was driving everyone else in the room crazy because everyone's heard it a million times, but Adrian, of course, was really gung-ho and was like, no, you do it, and I'll start over here, and then we just, vibed. Vibed on the piano. Clearly the most musical of the cast.
The whole Jane gang, every time they have some sort of moment, they make the absolute most of it, and it's amazing.
I'm spoiled working with this cast. My little crew, like Jane Gang, you know, we've been tight since the first season.
We've all gotten to a point where we are so comfortable. I mean, we are constantly calling each other out. There are inside jokes. We just have such a bond, I feel, that really can't be broken at this point.
It's Ella's birthday, so we're gonna run into her room, and we're just gonna yell surprise with balloons and cake and things.
I had no idea that anyone knew it was my birthday. And I came back to my dressing room to, Hailee had filled the room with balloons. Everyone was piled into the room.
Yay! Happy birthday!
There's something about this Dickinson family that is just so hard to compare to anything else. And after a very crazy, unpredictable year and a half that we all had, I just feel so lucky to be here.
Of course, it went on very smoothly this morning, but it does kind of hurt in one spot, but I'm gonna just stick it out and see how long I last. Oh boy.
When's lunch?
So that'll be the only comment I make. So that's it. I got it out. It's all upward from here. Okay. Rolling.
We wrote season 3 in the pandemic and have made it through to here.
Going from sort of total lockdown to suddenly coming into this world where you're seeing like old friends and workmates. I mean, I was just so happy.
It was very emotional for me when I first came back for season 3, just being so thankful for every crew member that would come here and put their mask on and get so many tests so we can all be together and make this show.
All I want to do is find a way to keep hope alive. A conversation that I had with Elena very early on about season 3 in general, being about hope.
This family's a joke.
I felt that in order for that to feel real, Emily would have to be knocked off her feet a couple times. Dad? Because it could come across as much easier said than done when you haven't experienced what it's like to be hopeless.
I'm seceding from this family.
Wrestling with hope is certainly the theme of the season, and especially this one where there was this racial reckoning in our country. We have always known that the Civil War was looming in Emily and her family's future. But it really became uncanny the way that the world sort of caught up to the show.
Suddenly there's this public consciousness about the oppression and marginalization of sexed people. And similarly, we're writing about the Civil War and about these Black soldiers finding their autonomy and fighting back. So the parallels write themselves. But remember, it's often darkest right before the dawn.
I have experienced firsthand, this show has made people feel seen. You experience meeting people around the world that have felt like this has made an impact on their lives. And that's all you could ever want at the end of the day, right?
Action! The show has such a modern flair, we was able to put our own spin on it, like our own swag on it.
I feel like each of these characters is their own universe. And these battalions in real life, the people who fought in them were filled with as much dreams and hopes and laughter.
Well, as a matter of fact, I am from Massachusetts, so.
Remember, we thought he was white.
We thought his guy when we auditioned, we were like, hold on, Henry's black? Black? For real? Black? No, he's not.
I knew that because I actually watched the show. So.
That tension between the contemporary language and storylines and the period is the sort of joy of Dickinson.
One of the last few fittings.
We have a couple of options to look at. I often get asked where we get the clothes, like what labels do I like to use? And it makes me laugh because there is no 1860s section at Saks. We don't shop these things, we make everything.
It takes about 200 hours or more to make these clothes.
200 hours or more to make these clothes.
I was actually blown away by the level of elegance that our design team was able to reach.
In the Inferno episode, Sue wasn't originally written to be in men's attire. And Elena had this idea midway through the season that Emily and Sue could sort of be like a bride and groom, and that Sue could be in a beautiful tailored men's suit, and that Emily would be in this incredible sort of Bride of Frankenstein type dress.
You look incredible, Hailee.
Thank you! Thanks, y'all. You guys are amazing.
To get to a point where we are making a show about two women in love, I feel incredibly grateful for the Emilys and Sues of history.
And so we have a moment of canoodling, and then we step back. That's the right energy, just like that. If y'all did exactly that, it would film gorgeously.
Our characters have been through quite the roller coaster of emotions together, and Ella and I have gotten to a point where the two of us can look at each other and we just know exactly how the other's feeling.
The question is who gets seen and who doesn't, and what are we to make of a history that has erased, minimized, marginalized again and again the contributions of women, people of color, queer people.
Shout it, scream it, I can't hear you.
I love Sue!
Yes.
We are restaging FOFs that Walt Whitman went to during the 1860s. And it was a bohemian and queer bar. It's really emotional to watch this recovered history.
Question, random. Is there another song at a similar tempo? Yeah, maybe. Throw on and shock everyone.
I had pulled Silas aside and I just said, can we just throw in a random mix of music and just see what happens? And sure enough, there was a moment where all of us break out into what feels like we're like suddenly in a music video. This moment of freedom comes over the whole room and everybody is one. And it's a really beautiful moment.
You were in True Grit? You were that little kid? Are you that kid?
I always find it so fascinating when we have guest stars come on.
I am New York!
And they just truly
What's up, girl?
make the space their own.
You got anywhere to be?
Nah, bro, never more.
I read the role and I was like, okay, I could really see myself doing that. So it's just been really exciting to see it come to life. Oh, you like it?
You're hot.
Thank you.
This is great. This is really good material. I'm gonna go take some notes.
It's a really surreal thing when you take what we know about who this character was and it's just brought to life in front of everybody.
Is this part of the interview?
It's extraordinary to watch someone embody a character so fully, so immediately.
To write poetry, you have to be willing to go all the way down to hell.
Okay, your energy is so intense, and this is Emily Dickinson saying that.
A dream.
It's been 8 weeks. We started at the War Hospital. We went to Fof's. We ended up in a family sing-along.
I wanted to have a musical episode because something that really is true from Emily Dickinson's life is that she played the piano. You know, at the Dickinson homestead was a large collection of sheet music, which you can still go to the library and see. And Emily and her family, just like any 19th century family, would have frequent piano sing-along nights and sing like the popular music of the day. And so we wanted to have an opportunity for each of our really gifted cast members to sing.
When we were shooting that sing-along stuff, Hailee has a moment where she sings Hard Times. It's a beautiful Stephen Forster song that was around during the Civil War, but could have been written yesterday. And we went from being in these like righteous, joyous moods to all sitting, watching Hailee perform that song, and I think we all wept.
I suggested that Austin hear it from outside and come in and sing it with Emily. Just to sing with Hailee was incredible.
Adrian came up with this beautiful harmony at the end of it.
Hard times come again no more.
We're beside ourselves over the fact that we like finally got the chance to sing together.
Dude, that would be so good.
Hailee is very gifted. I love watching her work.
Such a beautiful song.
I really admire her.
Let's go. It's just been incredible to be a part of something from the ground up.
That's a pretty good shot right there.
And I feel very lucky to be trusted by so many people to be in this position. That's a privilege.
I actually like that.
It's been really inspiring to see Hailee stepping into her own as a producer who isn't afraid to speak her own mind.
We can take a second to find this, but we have to land on something specific.
So then maybe she just stands and watches.
Hailee knows what it means to be the lead role in a show that has hundreds of people involved and how much it all comes back to like the energy that she's bringing.
Thank you all.
Hailee's a deeply empathetic person and wants us to have a good time.
There we go.
I love coming in here on a Friday, getting everybody hyped up.
All right. I know you guys have been waiting for me. I'm here. I made it. I came downstairs with shots.
And letting them know how eternally grateful I am for them showing up here every single day.
Last Emily scene of looking out to the water. It's an iconic moment, and we wanted to be there for Hailee.
Adrian and Ella and I came up to watch Hailee shoot the last scene of the show. It's really fun to be on set to support her and be with each other.
Under Elena's lead, she has really set the tone in terms of just the gravity of what we're doing.
It's been so nice for me to direct this final episode of season 3 and to feel like, in some ways, it is just the conversation between me and Hailee.
After we've had you here for a moment, we will cue the dog to run in. Make sure you get on. I can already hear you. Turn around!
That's one thing that's been so amazing about having you direct this last episode is to end this show how we started, with a very clear point of view on who this character is.
In season 1, it was all about the fact that if Emily was a normal Victorian girl, she would have been getting married. And instead, she chose to stay committed to her art. And everything that's happened since then has only been the essential fire of an artist.
On the beach, where our show ends, it felt very symbolic. She's been through quite a lot. To bring it all to an end at such a beautiful place that represents Emily's future. All the poems she hasn't written are out on the horizon of that water. And it was just so beautiful to be there myself too and think that this has been such an incredible journey. And Emily finds her place and she finds where she's headed and she feels really good about it. So that was kind of a cool moment for me.
I've just been corseted for the last time on this show, baby. Woo! And I actually feel so great. I've never felt so good in this corset.
I know we both feel so fortunate for getting to bring this show out into the world.
Catch my breath.
When you're so in it, it becomes sort of a blur. And the moments that I have where I'm able to sort of step back and look at what we have accomplished in 3 seasons is just, it makes me emotional. I'm so proud of the work that we've done.
It's just the greatest gift to feel like you're walking away from a show with a closer relationship to the people you're around.
Let's party, my platonic friend.
George is going off to war and being like, will I ever see my friends again? And I'm with these people I've been with for so long. I'll catch myself, actually look around and be like, no, I don't want to say goodbye to any of you.
We've been together every day for 4 months each year, and it's emotional getting to the end of this show.
I feel like it's not over because we're not done being a family. We're not done keeping in touch. I just feel like I am able to stand back and appreciate the work that every single person has put in here. I'm sitting in this room for the first time again, and the wallpaper. I mean, I've looked at this wallpaper for a while now, and I can't tell you how much I seem to appreciate it in this moment. What an incredible group of people we got to call a family on this show.
Bye, y'all.
I loved it.